I just got off a Zoom call with several of your classmates, and I just wanted to record a little bit about this week's assignment. This will be our last assignment. I'll post another one next week just for fun. That'll be extra credit. But we sort of ran out of time this semester to do one last final assignment. So we're just going to sort of finish with this one, which is sort of straightforward. I get the sense that everyone has a lot of work to do, a lot of papers to turn in, so I wanted to make sure that I'm not adding to all the extra stuff you have to do. So I'm going to just go over this real quick for you. It's very similar to last week in how you do it, but it's going to be a self-portrait this week. So you're going to make a posterized self-portrait, and I'll show you what that means. The point of this is to be able to break down an image into its component parts and then assemble them to make a likeness of yourself. I see I have some typos here. No problem. So what you're going to do is start with a photograph of yourself. You can have someone else take it, or you can take it yourself, do a selfie. But here's the key. You really want to get a good, strong light source so that you can make shapes with the light and shapes with the shadow. I'll show you some examples of how that works. But I really recommend spending time on your source material. Now, before we get to the piece, I'm going to switch, as I like to a few examples. I'll go through these pretty quick so that I can keep this video short. This is an artist named Chuck Close. This is a friend of his. This is like a 8-foot-high pencil drawing. He's a well-known artist who uses portraits a lot and does self-portraits. I think this one is not a self-portrait, but it's still a pretty unbelievable giant pencil drawing, and he does it by breaking down each section and rendering each section. So you can see you can assemble a portrait out of just little color shapes, which is essentially what we're going to do. This would be a grid version of it. Again, these are all Chuck Close. And you can see how he does it with these little tiny abstract paintings. If you zoom in here, they're just little paintings in each little grid, but they add up to a certain value, and then all those values together, and you get a self-portrait of the artist. Here's another one of him, older this time. This one, obviously, all these are quite lovely. You can see how, how he does it. All these little pieces. Here's another self-portrait of the Met. We just talked about on the Zoom call how no one knows why this window's broken. It's an enigmatic little piece by the artist here. Here's another one. I chose this just for the angle, but we were joking about, I think it was Aaliyah was joking about in class, the angle is very dominating, very male. I think it's funny and how strange it is, this piece being a study for this piece. But I'm just showing you these to give you an idea how you can do different things. This is Frida Kahlo. If you aren't familiar, I say become familiar with Frida Kahlo. She's a brilliant artist and a lot to learn about psychology of painting and pain and how to express oneself. She's really just one of the best. So I wanted to give you guys some ideas about what you could do with your self-portrait. Even though there are some constraints, there's obviously some freedom in it too. You can see the strong light shape here. So when you do yours, try and find a way to get these really good light dark shapes. That's going to be important. It's Picasso, Blue Period. This is all about color. He's a good example of how to make psychology and emotion sort of evident in paint. This is Rembrandt. I'm going to post a video about late Rembrandts, and this is a late Rembrandt self-portrait. He's not a good teaching artist because he's so wishy-washy and he's sort of sloppy, but in the best masterful way. It's his paintings sort of come together unbelievably out of all these random little strokes and dabs. Just an extraordinary painter, but you could go forever into studying just his self-portraits. I'll share some more of his. So that's good. Let's go to the assignment. Okay, so once you have a good source, and we've seen what some good ideas for source imagery could be, take a black and white version of it, and most phones can turn it black and white, and you want to be able to map out, just like you did in the old master study, shape and value, right? It's like if you only had, let's say, black, white, and 3 grays, like where would those shapes go to make a picture of yourself? concentrate on the major forms. That's the whole point of these assignments, is to be able to see the big pieces and how they interact with a few small pieces to make something work. Paying close attention to the dramatic shifts in value, right? Where you're going from white to black or black to white. That's going to do a lot of the work for you. So let's give some examples, because you can just read the rest of this on your own. First one is monochromatic, and the second one, just like in your last assignment, is you choose a color scheme that expresses you, like something you're interested in. So here's a Taylor Swift one. Honestly, that source imagery is not terrific, but you can see like the dark up here works with the dark here. But this is the black and white posterized one. Here's Albert Einstein. You can see like, okay, this artist chose that this area will be the darkest, and this will be the lightest. So you can see how you can make a posterized monochromatic portrait. And this one is just these funky colors. It's all green and purple, very controlled. And then here's a few more. Obviously, this would be for the first version, and these ones would be examples of the second version where it's a color scheme. I just want to pay close attention to how tightly the colors are restrained in these. They do something, right? This Facebook blue is really the only color, aside from black and white, that makes this piece, which is what makes the feeling of the piece. And even the way the artist has chosen to show these shapes almost makes Zuckerberg here look a little reptilian. So all these sort of choices, even though it's quite simple, add up to a very particular feeling. So you're going to do one in black and white and one in color. Please reach out with any questions. We're going to do a Zoom class next Friday, and then the one after that. And if you have any questions or anything like that, please reach out. I hope you guys are doing okay. I will see you soon. Bye.